Good evening, my beautiful brothers and sisters in Yeshua. Today is Saturday, the 26th of August 2023. It is 8:41 p.m. here in Australia. I hope you're doing really well. I hope you're blessed. Brothers and sisters, I want to do a video tonight based on the wonderful study Father had revealed to me last night. And I'm so excited to share it with you. I feel a little bit overwhelmed today because of the copious amounts of evidence stacked on top of each other for our soon redemption. Like, you cannot go 10 minutes or half an hour without somebody uploading something onto YouTube that's just extraordinarily brilliant and so clear that we are in the season and we are so close to this imminent deliverance. I feel extremely overwhelmed, and it's almost like there's so much stuff that's making this clear and evident that this is going to go down that you just can't even remember half the things that you've seen. It's just so much. And I suppose a part of me is extremely cautious because we've been here so many times before where things have looked so perfect and so brilliant that, and I'll be completely honest, I've got a little bit of reservation. Not the fact that the rapture is true. I believe that 110% without a word or out of shadow of a doubt, rather. I know from the Word of God that the deliverance, the sparing, the rapture, the harpazo is before the time of trouble. But when that time of trouble or when the rapture is, I have a little bit of reservation because obviously we've been here for many years now. We get all hyped up and everything like this, but even though it's been said so many times before, but this time there's something different. There is really something different in the air. There is something different about all our brothers and sisters that are coming from all different walks of life and different points of study. It seems like everybody that is studying, whether it's like more Hebrew roots type of a movement or, real eschatology, or just from all different areas, it seems like everybody is converging with their truths. What's going on in the world, what's going on in Bible prophecy, what's going on. Look, I don't even really know what I'm trying to say here, but what is going on right now with the signs in the stars and the heavens, the sun and the moon, and what is going on with the BRICS nations gathering at the moment, and the UN summit happening in September, and what is going on with the importance of the year 2023, and there being 7 years left to 2030, and what is going on with the highly unbelievable significance of the Feast of Trumpets this year, and the Day of Atonement, and the Tabernacles. It's just so overwhelming. It is so overwhelming that it cannot be ignored. And I'll be completely honest with you, I was literally all day, I've had a headache, and because I did like 7 hours straight of study last night, and I didn't get to bed. I didn't fall asleep until about 2:30, and I was fighting with myself this afternoon, well, not this afternoon, just now, in the last hour, of whether to come on here and actually do this video, because I did so much study. I'm like, oh no, I'm going to give them a huge study again, a huge video, and then I'm like, no, I'm not going to feel bad because it's going to be a huge video, because this is my life, this is my passion, this is my relationship with the Father, and I just love sharing it with my brothers and sisters. Everybody's got the right to switch off or not watch my long videos, and I understand why you wouldn't want to, but in the same token, you can always break it up into 3 bits, half an hour here or half an hour there, whatever it may be. But anyway, enough jabbering on. I want to show you my studies that I've been doing, and it's going to be here, there, everywhere, but it's just so much more overwhelming evidence that we truly are but moments away, like less than a month away. And sometimes I can't even fathom this, what's going down, what's about to happen. And I think, we're all worn out. We're all so tired. But, we're going to conquer on. We're going to get this done. We're going to encourage one another with these words and with our studies, and, growing closer to Father every day and to his beautiful Son. And we're just going to do this. So with that being said, I'm going to jump straight into my study I did last night. And basically I was doing the study on the two witnesses, and I noticed that the two witnesses, okay, they are clothed in sackcloth, okay, and they're going to prophesy for 1,203 score days. That's exactly the 42 months that Satan is reigning. So to me, I've always felt like the two witnesses are going to be the final proclamation of the gospel and the publishing of the gospel, and then the end will come. Okay, as it says in Matthew 24, this gospel shall go to the entire world, and then the end will come. I think it's like a court case, because God is so righteous, so fair, so just. Right at the beginning, he gave 12 hours a day to the good and 12 hours of night to the evil, right? He's just completely fair and wonderful in everything that he does. So even when coming to the end, even when all the judgments coming on this earth, there is a group of people. I am debating whether or not it is the 144,000 that he's talking about, which he describes as the two witnesses, for a few reasons. One, because when their dead bodies are lying in the streets, it says the whole world is glad, and they give each other gifts and everything like that. Now, if it was just two people lying dead in the street, I don't think somebody in another country would give two hoots about it. But imagine if there was 144,000 people lying dead in the street for 3 days. This makes more sense, that the whole world is giving gifts to each other and rejoicing that these people are dead. Okay, so with that being said, so the first thing I notice is the two witnesses are clothed in sackcloth. That means they're mourning. Okay, and if they're mourning, you see in Matthew 24:30, it says there's, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man, right? And then after that, and I believe the sign of the Son of Man is the rapture. And then after that it says, and all the earth shall mourn. So this is why they're mourning. The two witnesses, they're dressed in sackcloth, because I believe they've just witnessed the rapture. So it literally means they've missed the Messiah twice. And that is going to cause an unbelievable sadness, okay? But it needs to happen, because this is what Father's doing to provoke jealousy from his people. It is to win them back. He loves them and he wants to win them back, and it's through jealousy that he will do this. So I truly believe that once we are taken, and that is the sign of the Son of Man appearing in heaven, which is the rapture, and then the 144,000 Messianic Jews, I believe, will be dressed in sackcloth and start their preaching, because they have to preach the gospel and publish the gospel until the entire world, and then the end will come. Okay, in Revelations 11:4 it says, these are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. That's describing the two witnesses. And Zechariah 4:11 it says, and I answered and said, what are these two olive trees upon the right side of the candlesticks? And it goes down here and says, don't you know what these are? And he says, no, my Lord. And he said, these are the two anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth. Okay, so you notice in here that verse is Revelation 11:4, and in Zechariah it's 4:11. So they're literally back to front. It's amazing. Okay, so here we go down to Revelation 11:7. And when they'd finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and they shall overcome them and kill them. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. And then go down here to Matthew 12, down to verse 17, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by Elias the prophet, saying, Behold my servant, who I have chosen, my beloved, in whom my soul is well pleased. I will put my spirit upon him, and he shall show judgment to the Gentiles, and he shall not strive nor cry, neither shall any man hear his voice in the streets. Okay? A bruised reed shall he not break, and smoking flax shall he not quench, till he send forth judgment unto victory, and in his name shall the Gentiles trust. Now I know that's speaking about Christ there, but I truly believe in dual prophecy as well. That Father's going to put his spirit, because remember it says that the 144,000 gets sealed with the Spirit of the living God, right? And Father's giving them the final testimony to cry out for this 42 months. But said, neither shall any man hear his voice on the street. So I believe that that's what the two witnesses are there for, the 144,000 people. They're the final evidence and the judgment upon the Gentile nations, whether the people listen to them or not, which they won't, because it says, and they repent not from their evils, they repent not from their sorceries and adultery and wickedness and murders, whatever. But it has to be because God is righteous. They have to be there as a final witness and testimony to God's perfection and his law and everything like that. So that and the reason they will have to die is because they are essentially Jews. Okay, the Christians, the ones that believe in Yeshua Jesus Christ, and we confess with our mouth that Yeshua Jesus Christ paid for our sins on the cross, and he won the victory over death and hell. And so that means we don't have to pay with death, because we're the special generation. I know that it says that every man is appointed to die once, but in the case of our generation, this is why we're the most blessed generation ever to have ever lived on, since the last 6,000 years, is we will be the generation that does not see death. We will be those left alive and remain. Okay, the many are called, the few are chosen. The immediately in the spirit, the twinkling of an eye. Okay, we are gathered up into the sky, as we're standing, like two in the field. One will be taken, one will be left. It's going to be while we're alive. Okay, but in this case, the 144,000, they're Jewish. They're from the tribes of Israel, right? And so they go to, instead of, like for the Christians, when we're absent from the body, we're present with the Lord. So as soon as we die, we are present with the Father. But for the Jewish people, they go to Abraham's bosom, right? They sleep. And so this is why it makes sense that their dead bodies will lie on the street for 3 days and 3 nights. And the whole world will rejoice over them that they're dead. Because we also have down here in Matthew telling us that it was the Jews themselves that asked the Messiah for this, that asked Jesus for a sign. And Jesus said, you're not going to get any sign. You're such a wicked and adulterous generation. The only sign that you're going to get is the sign of Jonah. For as Jonah was in the belly of the whale for 3 days and nights, so shall the Son of Man be. In other words, you must die. Okay, you will die, and then you're going to be resurrected. And this is exactly what happens to the, and that's the thing, because they rejected the Messiah, which gives us the gift of, like Paul explains, we don't mourn when we lose a loved one, we don't mourn like others do that don't have any hope. So if you take a family that doesn't believe in the Lord, whatever, and then they lose a loved one, they're literally grief-stricken. I know it's still sad for the believers' families. If we lose somebody in our family that's a believer, it's still sad, of course. But we have hope that we're going to see them again, okay? Because they're in the presence of the Father when they pass from this world. But for the Jews, that is why they, the breath comes back into them, into the two witnesses. The breath comes back into them, and then they stand on their feet, and then God says, come up here. And then it says the whole world's seen them go up and be redeemed. Okay, and that is why it says every eye shall see him at that time. So I'm getting a little bit further up ahead of myself. Yes, so that is why, because this is supposed to be from the moment that we get taken at the rapture. Everything else is a sign for the Jews. First is a sign to make them jealous. The next is a sign with the two witnesses, that they're going to lie dead in the street, and that they are going to be dead for 3 days and 3 nights, exactly like Yeshua Jesus Christ, exactly like Jonah. That is why it's going to be a sign that the Jews will recognize. Okay, and that was prophesied a long, long time ago to happen. Okay, and then Revelation 14. I looked, and lo, a Lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven, the voice of many waters. And I'll just go down. And the elders, no man could learn this song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which not defiled with women, for they are virgins, and they follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto God and unto the Lamb. Okay, so I wrote here, the two witnesses, the 144,000 Messianic Jews, will preach for 42 months, just like Satan has a reign and rule for 42 months. And then they will be killed by Satan and lie dead in the street for 3 days and nights. They will not automatically be received into heaven as soon as they die, like the Gentile believers do, but rather 3 days later. The 144,000 which are redeemed from the earth. The sign of Jonah, as the Messiah Jesus foretold them, would be the only sign that they would receive. They, the 144,000, must sleep in the heart of the earth as Jonah and Jesus did. For the Jews still believe the dead go to be in Abraham's bosom, not to be received back to the Father. This is why Jesus used Lazarus to tell them about this. Will be the final and undeniable sign to the chosen people that rejected God's Son, not once, but twice. And in Luke 16, this is just the story of Lazarus, right? A certain rich man, I won't read it all. There's a rich man, and then there was Lazarus who used to beg the rich man, just for a few crumbs. The rich man was really mean to Lazarus, and then Lazarus died, and then the rich man died as well. And then you've got the story down here that there was a certain rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day, and there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at the gate full of sores, and desiring to be fed with crumbs, which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to pass that the beggar died, and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. And the rich man also died, and was buried. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torment. Okay? See, this is already happening. People want to say that there's no hell or anything like that. Okay, it says that rich man, that evil man, he was in hell, lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and he's seen Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. Okay, and he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that though in this lifetime you received thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things, but now he is comforted and you are tormented. Now listen to this. And besides all this, between us and you there's a great gulf fixed, so they that which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence. Then he said, I pray thee therefore, Father, that you would send him to my father's house. So this rich man who's in hell is saying, can you please send Lazarus, resurrect him and send him to my father's house, okay? For I have 5 brethren, and so that Lazarus could testify to them, lest they also come to this place of torment. And Abraham said unto him, They have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. And he said, Nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent. And he said unto them, If they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead. So there you go, brothers and sisters. This is why the 2 witnesses, or the 144,000, will be lying dead on the street for 3.5 days. Okay, because it wouldn't matter, because as Jesus says here, they wouldn't be persuaded even if one rose from the dead. So that is why after 3.5 days, the sign of Jonah, everybody's going to witness this in the entire world. Because there's going to be cameras on them, there's going to be media on them. This is why the whole world's celebrating with gifts and being cheerful and you know, being thankful that these people are dead lying in the street. So once Father calls them home and they get redeemed off the earth, the whole world will witness this. Okay. So, listen to this, brothers and sisters. Oh my goodness. This wicked and adulterous generation, no sign will be given except for the sign of Jonas. That's the 2 witnesses, 144,000 dead in the street. Then they will be resurrected, Revelation 11:12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them, which is every eye will see him, even those that pierced him. And listen to this. And the same hour there was a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. Very significant number. 7,000 died because of this earthquake, and the 10th of the city fell. And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the God of heaven. Now listen to this. Israel's warning system for end of days earthquakes is called shofar. It says, this is from Israel 360 News. According to Khan, a major earthquake is predicted to cause about 7,000 deaths. You cannot make this up. And 145,000 injuries, with 170,000 people left homeless and 320,000 buildings damaged. Talk about prophecy. The same hour there was a great earthquake, the 10th part of the city fell. At the earthquake there was slain of men 7,000. And here, Israel's system for end of days earthquake is called shofar, i.e. the Feast of Trumpets. And this earthquake is predicted to cause 7,000 deaths. You cannot make this up, okay? Now, Revelation 11:6, so the 2 witnesses have the power to shut up heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and they have the power over the water to turn them to blood, smite the earth with plagues as often as they will. Okay, and then you can read about all these things, the blood, the sea becoming blood, whatever, and the 3rd part of the waters become wormwood. Many men died of the water. So this is where the famine and the thirst, they have powers to shut up heaven. So if it doesn't rain and this wormwood goes into the oceans and to the rivers, men can't drink water. So it's going to be horrific, brothers and sisters. It's going to be absolutely horrific, okay? Now, remember this, the eye of fire that was in Mexico. This happened in 2021 on July the 2nd, I think. So for some reason I just got really led in spirit to just straight away when I come across this article, and I don't even know why I came across this article, but when I did, Father put in my spirit the bottomless pit. And so that I went on a huge study, and oh my goodness, brothers and sisters, Mexico, wow. Okay, so I just wrote here, is the bottomless pit in Mexico. Burst pipeline causes bubbling, steaming eye of fire to emerge in the Gulf of Mexico. So I came across this video, the fifth angel and the fallen star and the key to the bottomless pit, fire in the Gulf. And this guy here, we'll go here quickly. I won't play it because I might get a strike, but it's this. Hopefully I'll remember to put it down in the description box. But he talks about this fire, and he just puts these things together like I've never seen. This is it's so significant, brothers and sisters. You must see this video. It's incredible. And June 7th, it's all to do with, this when they had the 6-day war, not that year, but that time, that date, right? And Permex, which is the gas line that exploded, right? Petroleus Mexicanus, whatever. But it means the oil of the rock, okay? The oil of the rock. And it's just so biblical and so, this is unbelievable. Like, this guy just goes all into biblical prophecy. But anyway, like I said, I'm not going to go into it. This guy just, so if you want to go here and watch this video, it's pretty convincing that this was the bottomless pit was opened, right, with fire and smoke. Now, getting back to this, you read here and it makes a lot of sense, because in Revelation 13 it says, and I stood up upon the sands of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea. Okay, rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his head 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. And these are all the bottomless pit. I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key to the bottomless pit. He opened the bottomless pit, and there arose smoke out of the pit, as smoke of a great furnace. Okay, they had a king over him, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon. In the Greek, it's Apollyon. Okay, the beast that ascendeth out of the pit. Now, when you think about all the things that come out of the ocean, this is the great bottomless pit. Really is. The ocean is the unknown. It's the, cities have been covered, and it's, anyway. So, and then, he's going to be chucked into the bottomless pit too. And they cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should not deceive the nations no more until 1,000 years were fulfilled. And after that he must be loosed a little season. Now, the truth behind New Mexico's mysterious bottom lakes. So again, in Mexico, they've got these bottomless lakes. And then I thought, oh my goodness, it's literally called the lake of fire. You know, the devil and his angels and the false prophet and all that are going to be cast into the lake of fire. Okay, now there's this, like I showed you on my last video, the third earthquake in a row in Mexico on the 19th of September. I'll just go here quickly. I want to show you it again.
What are the chances that a big earthquake could shake the same city twice on the same day? No, wait! As I was recording this, it happened again. 1985, 2017, and now 2022. This time, a 7.6 earthquake with an epicenter on the border of the states of Michoacán and Colima. In Mexico City, they had just finished a practice exercise in preparation for earthquakes. Not long ago, we shot a few videos showing how well the city has recovered from the previous quakes.
Wow.
Here, September 19th, is a day to be feared.
Okay, brothers and sisters, like 3 times on the 19th of September, once in 1985, in 2017, and then in 2022, there was an earthquake in that same place in Mexico. What are the chances, brothers and sisters, that on September the 19th, when this Revelation 12 sign is at its peak, with the child and the woman that's clothed in the sun with the moon at her feet, with the US summit, with everything that's going on in the world, right on September 19th, which is possibly the second day of, the Feast of Trumpets. What are the chances that there's going to be the 4th and most significant earthquake in Mexico on the 19th, 2023 of September? Like, I think it's a very high possibility, and this may be the earthquake where, you know, it's talking about in Seal 6. I don't know, but it's very significant. Okay, so I had a look at the spirits and monsters of the lake. This is just a review on a book, right? And the legend of the Bale Lake in Wales tells of a voice of the lake crying out, "Line cannot fathom me, go or I will swallow you up." And no one has tried since. Bale Lake was also rumoured to hold a dragon. So, I mean, you've got the Loch Ness Monster and everything like that. And yeah, there's just a lot, there's underwater sea monsters. It just goes right into it. And like I said, it occurred to me that it's literally called the Lake of Fire. A lake. And there's the 4 references of the Lake of Fire in the Word of God. And you see here, right in Revelation 21:1, says, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea." Okay, so the sea was something that God thought was beautiful and wonderful, then he would include it on the new earth, right? But in the new heavens and the new earth, there will be no more sea. So, you know, and then it says, "I saw a beast rising up out of the sea." So it's very likely, brothers and sisters, that this ring of this thing in Mexico, this eye of fire, which they could not put out, was some kind of portal, maybe to the bottomless pit, who knows. But the whole point of what I'm trying to say here, brothers and sisters, is I think we're further along in this journey, in this book, than we can even begin to imagine. And Yeah. So, keep going on this. I went and had a big study about Mexico. Okay, Mexico is located in one of the Earth's most dynamic tectonic areas. It is part of the Circum-Pacific Ring of Fire, a region of active volcanisms and frequent seismic activities. Along with its towering volcanic peaks are Cathaltipatel, which forms the highest point in the country at 18,406 feet, okay, and rises to 17,930 feet. This is unbelievable. So there's whole canyons of mountains that are all volcanic, like active volcanic, like this is, if Mexico was to go off with volcanoes and earthquakes, it would just literally be, and they call this place too the center of the world, Mexico. Like in my studies where I read it all, it's just unbelievable. And look at this, the Permian clastics contain some detrital rock that sits alongside low-grade metamorphed sedimentary and volcanic rocks with serpentinite. Like there's got serpentine in it. And mineral deposits in these mountains, right? They've got, what have they got? Lead, zinc, copper, iron, mercury, molybdenum, whatever that is, cassiterite, manganese, hermite, like when Satan, because remember when he talks about Satan falling from heaven, how I seen you fall from heaven and stuff, you were covered, you were literally, and he gives a list of all the things that Satan was, well, when he was Lucifer back then, he was covered in all these minerals, like, and gems and things like this, and he was so beautiful. This is why pride came into him. And so when he was cast from heaven, when he first fell, I believe very much that wherever he fell, all these minerals are in great capacity in that area, right? And this place in Mexico literally has all this tin and iron and copper and zinc and lead, and oh my goodness. And this culture produced pottery, okay? They're huge for pottery, like the Aztecs and the Mayans. That's where all that comes from, brothers and sisters. So, Revelations 2:27, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. So, this is just the whole history of all their pottery, and, and this is the peak of the highest point in Mexico, located on Veracruz State. So look how high this is, brothers and sisters. This is above the clouds. And then you've got their flag, which is the eagle with a snake, a serpent in its mouth, with the wreaths, okay, and those colours. I'm pretty sure those colours are in Revelation somewhere too, about the red, like blood, and white and green. Anyway, and the Aztec calendar. The Aztec calendar was one common to much of Mesoamerica, and it comprised of a solar year of 365 days and a sacred year of 260 days. The 2 yearly cycles running in parallel produced a larger cycle of 52 years. So is that the shortening of time from 365 to 260 days? I don't know. Okay, now they've got this thing called New Fire Ceremony. And the New Fire Ceremony was an Aztec ceremony performed once every 52 years, a full cycle of Aztec calendar round, in order to shave off the end of the world. So that's huge in itself. I'll try and keep this a bit shorter. But basically this ceremony, okay, the details of the ceremony. The celebration of new fire ceremony is described by Tavor. During the last 5 days of the last year of the cycle, the preparations for the ceremony began. These preparations involved abstinence from work, fasting, ritual cleansing, ritual bloodletting, destruction of old household items, and observance of silence. It was believed that during these days the world was in grave danger because of the instability inherent in the shift from one cycle to another. It was feared that the female stellar deities would descend and devour the earth. Okay. So anyway, this is them still practicing it to this day. And then it says, because I was trying to figure out when was this new fire ritual celebrated in Mexico each year, right? And it says here, each February, an ancient fire lighting ceremony marks the start of a new year for the indigenous Peperupaca communities of Michoacán, Mexico. The sacred ritual occurs on the first 2 nights of the month when Orion constellation reaches its highest point in the sky, which the Perpetua calendar identifies as a time to make offerings to the god of the sun and of fire. Okay? You can always recognize the star Sirius because it is the brightest star in the sky, and the 3 prominent belt stars in the easy-to-see constellation Orion the Hunter point to it. So there's Sirius, and so when this is highest in the sky, that's when they have that. And here, want to entertain your friends on New Year's Eve? Give them a quick tour of the heavens and show them Sirius, the brightest star in the sky. It has been nicknamed the Dog Star because it's part of the constellation Canis Major, the greater dog. Sirius might also be called the New Year's Star. It'll ring in 2023 by reaching its highest point in the sky around the stroke of midnight. That's true for every New Year's Eve. Okay, here's Mexico, Central America, South America, Brazil, and Caribbean in prophecy. That's so interesting. Okay, get this. Oh, this is amazing, okay? So the Aztecs had 4 mythological eras. Those of the water sun, which was destroyed by the flood, the sun of the earth, which was destroyed by earthquake, the wind sun, which was destroyed by a giant with only something, the feathered serpent remaining. Okay, so the feathered serpent remains, prophesying the destruction of the earth by wind and the evolution of humans into monkeys. Okay. Now, this is really amazing because, get this, in the book of Yasha, brothers and sisters, which is mentioned in the Bible, may I add, it's actually mentioned as a book, in the Word of God. Okay, so it's set up here in this Mexican thing, the evolution of humans into monkeys. So in the book of Yasha, in the story of the Tower of Babel, it talks about Father dividing the people who did it into 3 parts, because one of the parts, one of the groups of people, they wanted to, okay, I'll just read this here. Okay, and then the Lord smote the 3 divisions that were there, and he punished them according to their works and designs. Those who said, we will ascend into heaven and serve our gods, so this is one group of people, they became like apes and elephants. Brothers and sisters, could this be where we get our missing link? Where they say that we came from monkeys? The book of Yasha literally says that Father, as a punishment for the people who wanted to ascend into heaven and put their gods there, That's why they built the Tower of Babel, right? They wanted to ascend into heaven. That's the punishment that they got, that they were turned into apes and elephants. And look what we have today with the evolution. We come from monkeys. I mean, come on. Okay? And those who said, we will smite heaven with arrows. So there's another group of people who wanted to attack heaven with arrows. And those who were left among them, when they knew and understood the evil which was coming upon them, they forsook the building, and they also became scattered upon the face of the whole earth. The Lord killed them, one man through the hand of his neighbour, and the third division of those who said, we will ascend to heaven and fight against him, the Lord scattered them throughout the earth. So there you go. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so here is a stone etched with the symbol of the new fire, that celebration in Mexico, or beginning of the 52-year cycle on the Aztec calendar. It is also inscribed with the dates 1 rabbit and 2 serpent on the display at the Palace of Cortes in Mexico. Okay, so again, we've got the child in the woman. She's clothed with the sun. Mercury's there, Mars is there too, which is the god of war, right? And then when you have a look at this next one here, Israel is right next to Mars, the god of war. So, it says when you see the army surrounding by Jerusalem, then the desolation thereof is near. And then we go here to the calendar. Okay, hang on a sec. I'll just zoom this up a bit. Okay, so in September, the Feast of Trumpets starts on the 16th of September. But that, brothers and sisters, is all due to if they see the slither of the moon, because it's completely dark and concealed on the 15th. So who knows if they're going to see it on the 16th? Imagine they see it on the 17th. That means the first day of Tishri will start on the 17th, going into the 18th. So we just don't know these things, right? All right, so here I have written the bride. Okay, this is a big... I'm distinguishing now between the bride and the guest. There are 2 raptures. Well, there's 3, including the 144,000 that get redeemed from the earth. But the bride is described as this. In Revelation 5, it says, and I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside, sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? And what? No man in heaven, so there's men in heaven, nor in the earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look in. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders said to me, don't weep. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb as it had been slain. Okay, what's that? Passover. Okay, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God. And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat on the throne. So Jesus took the book from his Father. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odours, which are the prayers of the saints. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. For thou wast slain, and hast redeemed us. Okay, so there's 24 elders. We're not talking about the 144,000 yet. You have redeemed not going to redeem, is not redeeming us in the future. He has redeemed us to God by the blood, by your blood, talking to Jesus, out of every kindred and tongue, the people and nation, and has made us unto our God king and priest, and we shall reign on the earth. And I beheld, and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne, and the beasts of the elders, and the number of them that was 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands. That's us, brothers and sisters. That is the angels, the elders, the 24 elders, and the bride. Okay, that is us. Saying with a loud voice, worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive the power and the riches and the wisdom and the strength and the honour and the glory and the blessing. That's what we're going to be doing up there. This is why the bride needs to be up there first, brothers and sisters, because he's the Lamb that was slain, and now because he has his bride up there, he's going to receive the power, the riches, the wisdom, the strength, the honour and the glory and the blessing. And that is why, we'll read down in Matthew in a little bit, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but also in Daniel 9, where it says, you've got 70 weeks to bring in an end to sin, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to make a reconciliation of iniquity, and then seal up vision and prophecy. And then the last thing was to anoint the most holy. That's what we're doing, brothers and sisters. That's why we have to be up there. Jesus is waiting for us so that we can attend this coronation of Jesus Christ, for him to receive the power, the riches, the wisdom, the strength, the honour, the glory, and the blessing. And every creature which is in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and such as is in the sea, and all that are in them, I heard them saying, blessing and honour and glory and power be unto him that sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb for ever and ever. Okay, so this is the amazing thing. So just in relation to that, because when we go to Matthew 24, okay, I'm going to go there quickly in my Bible, because I want you to see something, brothers and sisters. It just makes so much sense. Okay, so as I said before, and then shall appear. Okay, let's have a look at this. Let's start at 29 first, right? Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. What is that, brothers and sisters? That is the Feast of Trumpets. Okay, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. That is the Feast of Trumpets. It is the only feast out of all the 7 that's on a dark concealed moon. All the other feasts are on a full moon, okay? And it says, the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heavens shall be shaken. This is when the war in heaven starts, brothers and sisters. Okay? Because remember, there's 2 instances. There's the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. And then there's also the sun shall be turned to black, like sackcloth, and the moon to blood. Okay? You have one instance of a dark concealed moon, and the next 15 days later on a full moon. That's how you can get the sun will not give, the moon will not give her light, and then the other one, the moon turns to blood. That's what it's talking to. This is why on the day no man knows, which is considered the Feast of Trumpet, because you do not know when you're going to see the slither of the moon. It could be on the day 1 after the dark concealed moon. It could be on day 2. It could be on day 3. So it's literally the feast that no man knows the day and hour of. And this is why it's going to come like a snare upon the whole world, because they're literally not expecting it. Okay, and whereas the Okay, so it says the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. That is literally when the war in heaven starts. Because in Revelation 12, when we skip over to this, and I'm pretty sure I've got it written here in my studies, but we'll go through it again when I get there. But look at the difference, okay? Then we have here, there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not. Then they were cast down. And verse 10, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. Listen, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. So in other words, brothers and sisters, I pray that you're understanding this. On a dark and sealed moon, i.e. the Feast of Trumpets, it is 99.99999999999% probability that that's when we're going to go. Okay, that's when we're going to go. And it's also, that's when the sign will appear to make the Jews jealous that we're going to be taken, when the sun is darkened and the moon won't give her light. Okay, normal days like it is right now. Two will be in the field, one will be taken, one will be left. And then, so we're going to be in heaven then, and we're going to witness this war in heaven. Brothers and sisters, this is why we are rejoicing, because Satan has been cast down, right? And that makes sense when you get to Revelation 6, where it says, and then there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth, and the moon turned to blood. And then it said, what else did it say? That, where is it? And in Revelation 12, verse 4, and his tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth, and the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered. Hang on. Where does it say? What does it say about the fig tree? Oh, sorry about that. You know, it says that oh, where is it? I don't know where it is right now. I know it's right here. I just must be looking over it. But it says, it might be in Revelation 6. Oh, it is in Revelation 6. Okay, and here we go. And then I beheld when I opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake. The sun became black as sackcloth, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casts her untimely fig when she is shaken of a mighty wind. So I'm just going to recap that. What I'm proposing to you, brothers and sisters, is that on the Feast of Trumpets, on the feast that no man knows the day or hour of, because that's literally what the feast is called as a Jewish idiom, because no one knows when that first slither is going to show. That is what it's meant by in Matthew. This is when the bride's going to be taken. Okay, on a dark and sealed moon, on the Feast of Trumpets, whenever that is announced. And that's just going to be a normal, natural occurrence, like in the heavens. Okay, but then the 15 days later, on the full moon, you see, and then we're taken into heaven, right? The bride is taken into heaven on that dark and sealed moon. And then we're going to witness that Michael standing up, the war in heaven happening, and him being cast down like untimely figs. And then we're going to rejoice and say, yay, the accuser of our brethren has been cast down, but woe to those that live on the earth. Because we're happy up here in heaven because Satan's out of here now, but woe to those who are on earth. But remember, the reason why it says untimely figs is because when Satan gets down there, the first thing he says is his wrath, because his time is short. Okay, this is why he's like described as untimely figs, because he thought he had more time. He literally thought he had more time. So what I'm going to do, brothers and sisters, tomorrow I'm going to concentrate on drawing this out, drawing this on a big piece of cardboard. And I think I can explain it to you a lot better. But it makes so much sense to me that there is a 15-day period from a dark and sealed moon to a full moon. Okay. So let's just move on here. So I just wanted to add one more thing too, where I was saying where Jesus, when we get up there, okay, and the seals are going to be opened. See, I think the seals have had a type, like a mirror, a practice run, like the white horse and everything like that. I believe that they're all practice runs and mirrors and typologies of what the real seals are going to be. But basically, anyway, so we get up there. Yeshua takes that scroll out of his Father's hand, and then he, we celebrate the coronation, and he is given power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory. And that's why when you go to I just want to show you something. I hope I haven't confused you, brothers and sisters. It's literally, when you write things down, it's easy for you to understand them, and then you go to explain them, and it's like, okay, so we got down here. So in verse 30, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. So, sorry, I'll start up here. Verse 29, immediately after the tribulation of those days, and the tribulation of those days is not the great tribulation. There's only 4 references to the great tribulation in the Bible. All the rest is tribulation. We are in tribulation right now. The world is rocking and rolling and renting, okay, in travailing in pain to give birth right now. So immediately after the tribulation, or the days of Noah that we're living in right now, the sun shall be dark and the moon shall not give her light. That is the Feast of Trumpets, okay? The stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Then shall appear, because remember, Satan, he knows this time is just imminent, and I reckon he knows the time. I reckon he knows now too, because he's smart. He's been here for 6,000 years. He knows, okay? I truly believe that he knows that this is it, and so he's ready to devour that child as soon as she's born. But the child gets caught up straight away to God's throne. Okay, so remember, he hasn't got his glory and power yet. Then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man, which is the rapture, and all the tribes will mourn. Okay? The Jews missed him again. Unbelievable. The Jews missed him again, and all the tribes of the earth, that's loved ones from the rest of the world, that are going to be mourning because they should have listened to their loved ones who was telling them that this rapture was real, that their redemption was imminent, and they're going to mourn. It's going to be horrific, okay? And then what happens? And then a little while later, in in 2 weeks, Then they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So the next time they see him, in 15 days, when the full moon happens, when it turns to blood, he's going to have power and great glory. First, he's going to come like a thief in the night, and it's going to be a snare upon the whole world. And the next time he comes, he's going to come with power and great glory, and every eye shall see him, even those that pierced him. Okay, because look what happens here. Okay, we're already up there, okay? Because remember, the difference to the bride, the Lord himself shall come and gather us. In Thessalonians it says this, for the Lord himself shall come with the voice of an archangel, the trumpet of God, and the Lord himself will gather us, the dead in Christ first, and then those who are left alive and remain, and bring us up to the clouds to meet him in the clouds, right? But look at this. This is the left behind people. And it says, he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect. It's the angels that are gathering from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Okay? So it's the angels gathering them. Whereas our gathering is personal, because we have a relationship with him. The Lord himself is going to gather us. Isn't that amazing? So, I hope that makes sense. So, again, the bride, we've been numbered 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands. Okay? And in Daniel, it says those who brought people to righteousness. That means us who are sharing and showing our fruits and sharing the gospel and bringing people to righteousness. We're going to shine like stars in the sky. So remember, Abraham had two promises for his descendants, that if he could count the stars in the sky and the sands on the ground, or the dust on the ground, right? The stars in the sky are less than the dust on the ground. The stars are the bride, the dust are the guests. Okay? In Daniel 12:3, righteousness shall shine as the stars forever and ever. We're the 5 wise and we are the barley. Okay? Then we have the guests. This is, no man could number this one. There's just so many that no man could number. It is the sands of the earth. This is Abraham's descendants of the sands of the earth. It's the 5 foolish and it's the wheat. Okay? Now, get this gem and gold nugget. After this I beheld, lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and tongues and people. They stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed in white robes and what? Palms in their hands. That's a huge clue. Huge clue. Okay? And it says, who are these people? These are they that came out of great tribulation, and they washed their robes. They washed their robes. Right now, Jesus Christ, we are clothed in his, we are clothed in his blood, basically. He did that for us. But these people who go into great tribulation, they have to wash their own robes. Now get this, what have they got? Palms in their hands. Palms in their hands could be 2 things, brothers and sisters, and this is going to blow your mind. Okay, palms in their hands, that represents, there's 2 options here. It either represents Hosanna, Jesus' triumphal entry, right, which was on the 10th day of Nisan. Now remember, I explained to you many times that the months are interchangeable, because Tishri was originally the first month of the year, okay, not the 7th. And once the flood happened, the Exodus, because in Exodus chapter 12, Moses had the months swapped. So month 7 became month 1, and month 1 became month 7. Father did this to conceal the matter, and it was our glory to search this out, right? So the 10th day of the first month, when Jesus' triumphal entry was, is also the 10th day of Tishri, the 7th month, which happens to be the Day of Atonement. And this is where we get the 10 days, the 10 days of awe from the trumpets. Then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days, 10 days until the Day of Atonement, 10 days later. Those 10 days in between are called the days of awe. Okay, those days of awe, the books of life and death is open, and that makes so much sense that that's the great tribulation for the guests. Okay, and we're not talking about the wicked that are going to go through God's wrath. We're just talking about the great tribulation, the lukewarm ones, the 5 foolish ones. And that it says that Satan is going to throw some of you into prison for 10 days. Be faithful unto death to receive your crown. So that's option 1. The palms in their hands equals Jesus' triumphal entry on the 10th day of Nisan, which is also the 10th day of the 7th month, Tishri, the Day of Atonement, when the books are shut. Okay, here's the second option. Palms in their hands. It's the Feast of Tabernacles, the 15th day of Tishri. So it's 15. Oh, brothers and sisters, I pray. Like I said, I'm going to put this all on a nice coloured cardboard, pictures, everything to really describe this, because this is mind-blowing. So we go on the dark concealed moon on the Feast of Trumpets, the first day of Tishri. Then 2 weeks later, on that full moon, on the 15th day, the Feast of Tabernacles, the 15th, and like I said, if the 15th day of the 7th month can also be the 15th day of the 1st month, which happens to be Passover, brothers and sisters. Like, boom, okay? And he talks about it's going to be like a second Exodus at midnight, right? That's when the Passover happened. Jesus even says that I could come in the evening or at midnight or when the cock crows in the morning. Paul escaped from prison at midnight. The midnight call was made at midnight. So in Leviticus 23 it says, also in the 15th day of the 7th month, which can also be the 15th day of the 1st month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of your land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days. On the 1st day shall it be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day it shall be a Sabbath. And ye shall take your 1st day the broads of goodly trees, branches of palm trees. Are you hearing this, brothers and sisters? Are you hearing this, brothers and sisters? We have so many confirmations. We have immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. That is the Feast of Trumpets. On a feast where no man knows the day or the hour, because it is the only feast out of the 7 that is a dark concealed moon, and you have to wait for that first slither to call the first day, and no man knows when that's going to happen, whether it's 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Okay, then 15 days later is the Feast of Tabernacles, and you are to bring in palm branches. And here we see these people come out of great tribulation, and they have palms in their hands. And the mirror image and the intercorrelation of months, where 1 is 7 and 7 is 1, 2 is 8 and 8 is 2, 3 is 9 and 9 is 3, etc., etc. The first day of the 7th month, Tishri, okay, the Feast of Trumpets, is also the same as in Exodus, where it says this is going to be the new year and the new month for you. You shall start this, like, oh my goodness. And then the Feast of Tabernacles, which is on the 15th day of the 7th month, is also the same as the 15th day of the 1st month, which is Passover. So, and it says one of the other commands for tabernacles is ye shall dwell in booths for 7 days. Flee, which in other words, flee into the wilderness, go and live in a tent for 7 days. So again, the bride is on trumpets. Many are called, but few are chosen. Then they're the ones that are taken, in the field. These are the ones in the days of Noah, normal, and as a snare, and immediately in the spirit. And guess what? It says, let's read it here quickly. Revelation 4:1. Okay, actually, Revelation 3:20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. Okay, then you go 2 verses down to chapter 4. After this, I looked, and behold, a door was open. What happens on the Feast of Trumpets, brothers and sisters? The books of life and death are open for 10 days. Okay? And behold, a door was open in heaven, and the first voice which I heard was of a trumpet talking with me, and it said, Come up hither, and I will show you the things which must happen hereafter. Okay, so we get to see everything that happens hereafter. We're up there. We see the war in heaven. We see the casting of Satan come down. And we're like, woe to those on the earth. But we're rejoicing. We're like, yay. Okay, and then 15 days later, it's either 10 days or 15 days. I'm telling you, that's how good and gracious the Father is. Okay, doesn't it make sense though, 15 days later on that full moon? When because Joel talks about both of them, right? He talks about, I'll show you. Let's go there. He talks about the dark concealed moon and the full moon. Okay. Mighty man. Just gonna find it. I put in. I know Joel talks about both of them. That's why it's so amazing. Yes. Okay, so it's in 10 and 31. Okay, so we've got Joel 10, 2:10. So here, the earth shall quake before them, and the heavens shall tremble. The sun and moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Then we go to 31, and he talks about the full moon now. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and terrible day of the Lord comes. Okay, so we've got the two instances of a dark moon, and a dark concealed moon is the only day a solar eclipse can happen, because the moon and the sun, they rise and set together when it's dark and concealed, whereas when it's a full moon, the sun's completely on the opposite side of the constellation, zodiac thing, whatever it's called. Brothers and sisters, I hope you are seeing what I'm seeing, because this is unbelievable, right? Unbelievable, with the Feast of Trumpets and the palm branches in their hands, because who are these? They're wearing white robes with palm branches in their hands. So, like I said, the books of life and death, repentance, are opened for 10 days in the 10 days of awe. But look how good and wonderful and merciful our Father is. It says, Therefore also now, says the Lord, turn ye even unto me with all your heart, and with fasting, okay? Fasting and weeping and mourning, and rend your heart and not your garments, and turn unto the Lord your God, for he is gracious and merciful. Even in the great tribulation he will be gracious and merciful, right? Slow to anger and kind and of great kindness, and repenteth him of the evil. And it shall come to pass, that whoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord has said, and the remnant whom the Lord shall call. So there you go, brothers and sisters. Everybody who calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. That's why none of our words and our pleadings and our beggings and our crying to our loved ones will go in vain. I'm telling you, we have nothing to fear. You don't have to fear your loved ones. Yes, they may go through some trials, but it's only for a short time. A little season, as it says in Revelation 6, and a little season, as it says in Isaiah 26. A little moment, sorry. It's only for a short time because he loves us so much. And believe me, our loved ones will be calling on the name of the Lord because they'll know it's true. Everything, they'll be like Thomas. They will see and believe. So we've got nothing to fear, brothers and sisters, nothing to fear. Okay. Now here's some more evidence for a 10-day period rather than a 15-day period, right? So this is talking about the Day of Atonement. So this is on the 10th day of the month. It says, it shall be a holy convocation to you, and you shall afflict your souls and make an offering made by fire. Okay, what's fire? Tribulation. Okay, Malachi 3:3, and he shall sit as a refiner and a purifier of silver, and he shall purify the sons of Levi and purge them as gold and silver. How is gold and silver made? In the fire. Okay, in the fire. That they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness. Daniel 3:35. And some of them with understanding shall fall to try them and to purge them and to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed. Revelation 7:14. Who are these people? These are the ones who came out of great tribulation and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Okay, the guests, the devil's going to put some of you into prison for 10 days. Be faithful unto your crown, to death to receive your crown. This is going to be the 5 foolish, the ones that are left, thrown into great tribulation, to be refined and purified, the lukewarm. Matthew 24:30, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, which is the rapture of the bride, by the Lord himself, a personal welcoming. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. The Jews will mourn and be jealous that they missed the Messiah again. Romans 10:19, but I say, did not Israel know? First Moses said, I will provoke you to jealousy by them that are no people, and by a foolish nation I will anger you. Did you hear that, brothers and sisters? Did you hear that? Father is going to provoke the Jews to jealousy from a people that they think are no people. They don't have any regard for us, right? And they call us a foolish nation. And that's why they're going to be so jealous and they're going to be angry. But it's going to turn them back. Okay? So, worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive the power and riches and wisdom and strength and honour and glory and the blessing. So in Daniel 9:24, that's what I was saying before. You know, you got 70 weeks to finish the transgression, to make an end to sin, reconciliation for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, seal out the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. So that's what we're going to go up there and do, brothers and sisters, as the bride. We're going to anoint our bridegroom. And then they're going to see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. That's like in Revelations 1:7. What does it say? Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. They also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. See? And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. That's because he's just been up there coronated. We have coronated our bridegroom with power and great glory and blessings and everything. Okay, Christ returns with power and glory that the Jews were looking for the first time. See, they expected the Messiah to come with, to be a ruler and a military leader and etc., right? So this is going to be for them, so there'll be no doubt this time that he truly was the Messiah, the Son of the Most High. Okay, so here, the sun darkened, the moon not giving her light, is the Feast of Trumpets on a dark concealed moon. The powers of heaven shaken, is the war in heaven beginning. And then the sun black, the moon to blood, the fig tree casts its untimely figs. Untimely figs because Satan is wrath because his time is short, and Satan and his angels are cast down like untimely figs, right? Shaken of a mighty wind. That's from Michael. Michael the archangel is shaking them like a mighty wind, and they are cast down like untimely figs. Okay, that's Sukkot, the 30th of September. Trumpets and tabernacles fall on a Sabbath day. Right? They both fall on a Sabbath day, brothers and sisters. Pray that your flight is not on the Sabbath day. Also, the 23rd of September, big day. You could have your 7 days here. It could be like the days of Noah as well. It could be a 7-day period. It could be a 10-day period. It could be a 15-day period. But if it's a 7-day period like the days of Noah, Trumpets is here 7 days later on the 23rd of September, which is a high watch time. For years and years, since 2015, it's been the highest watch time date in every year. That happens to be the fall equinox. Okay? Starting off the fall. Pride comes before the fall. And today, I just added this today, from Logic Before Authority channel, that the green comet, Nishimiru, they're now saying that when it comes close to Earth, around September the 23rd, it's going to do its thing around the sun, and they're talking about it may cause a 3-day eclipse. Brothers and sisters, there's your 3 days of darkness. Okay? Look, Hideo, that's the name of, the first name of Nishimura, okay? The guy who named the comet. Hideo. The word hide is in there. Father said, I'm going to hide you in my pavilion. Right? I'm going to hide you in my pavilion on the day of evil. And in Isaiah 26:20 it says, come my people into my chambers and shut the door and hide thyself for a little moment until my indignation goes over past. Okay? Hideo, we're going to hide in the man-child from east to west. Okay, from east to west. I want to show you something. Check this out. We're going to have a look for the child. Okay, this comet, right? Literally, this comet Nishimiru literally means to go west. So if we click on it, okay, and we're going to put the meridian and ecliptic lines on, so you can see this comet here. Just give me a sec, I'll show you what I'm trying to do. Where is it? Alright, here's the east. Where's the comet? Oh, here. Okay. So look. Oh boy. So here's the east. Here's the comet. So it's going from the east to the west. The east to the west. Look at it zoom. Okay, it's just cruising. Here it is, just here. Alright, and then right into the woman. Okay, and here, like, yeah, amazing. Now, I'm going to end this video with something like I've just been on cloud 9 all day today. I know I showed you in one of my last videos about how where is it? Okay, how my name, actually I'll show you here. This is amazing. So, you know, with how you know, all these comet names like Israel and the child and everything, and just Ukraine and everything is in this woman. This is why it's such a perfect sign at the moment. So I thought, what are the chances that my name is up there? So I type in Rebecca. I didn't get further than that. And what do you know? Rebecca Louise, okay? And it's right on September 19th, okay, on the sign. I am literally, my name is literally right on her shoulder in the sign of the woman. Now get this, brothers and sisters, I cannot even fathom how blessed I am and how incredible this is. That is my first name and my middle name. Guess what? My last name. And my last name is, my parents are German, so I do not have a common last name, and it's Bauerle, okay? Bauerle. And look, there is another asteroid. So mind you, Rebecca Louise, my first name and my middle name, is on her shoulder. Now if I click on Bauerle, it's literally right next to it. I mean, can I get an amen? Like, my first, middle, and last name is on the arm of the woman that is showing the sign. I mean, and the Bauerle, my last name, literally means small farmer. So I'm going to be harvesting that barley. That just, oh man, I'm just absolutely stoked. I'm like, thank you, God. That's just like the best present I could have here on this earth. So yeah, there's my Rebecca Louise. And Bauerle. All in the woman. And get this, have a look at this. I put my name, Rebecca Louise Bauerle, into Gematria, and the Hebrew Gematria is 786. And it means Asher, which is one of the tribes of Israel. Like, how freaking cool is this? Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you because I've just been chuffed all afternoon. I'm just like, God is so awesome. Okay, brothers and sisters. Yeah, that's probably been an incredibly long video, but like I said, I'm going to put it on paper because me blabbering on for the last probably nearly 2 hours, I'd say. What have we got here? Oh, an hour 34. Not too bad. But I probably confused you heaps. But okay, let's just put it in a nutshell what I want you to take away from this video. And that is that immediately after the tribulation of those days, which is literally right now, brothers and sisters, it's not the Great Tribulation. It talks about the sun being darkened and the moon not giving her light. okay? And that is the Feast of Trumpets. It's the only feast that can happen on a dark concealed moon, when there is no moon and the sun and the moon rise and set together, and a solar eclipse can happen. Now, also in this video, I think also in this video, where was it? Was it in this video or this logic before authority? I don't know. That video I just showed you, the logic before authority. Also in that video, he talks about, I think it was a Little Shop of Horrors. I think that movie, movie from the 80s or whatever it was. Anyway, it talks about a green comet coming and it causing an unexpected eclipse. And I have always felt my whole life, my whole life that I've been really studying prophecy, Bible prophecy, and particularly end time prophecy, that it would be an unexpected eclipse, because we're expecting one in October. We're expecting a solar and a lunar eclipse in October. And like I said in my videos a few videos ago, that that's definitely a time that the Jews think not, because their trumpets, atonement and tabernacles is all finished, and the month of October is their month Chesvan, where there's literally no feast at all. So I'm like, that's perfect for a day they think not. But imagine if the eclipse comes in September when it's not expected. I mean, and like I just read to you, that this comet here, that Nishimiru, that's in the woman, this is expected on the 23rd of September to cause a 3 days eclipse of the sun. I don't even know. I sometimes I'm just lost for words. Like right now, this video was, I'm even a little bit confused myself. So I don't blame you if you are. But there's just so much stuff. There's just so much stuff that just cannot be denied. It's definitely not a coincidence. It's Father really just bringing out all the bells and whistles to say, hey, it's time, my children, it's time. My son's going to come and get you imminently. So I hope this video blessed you. Like I said, I'm going to work on creating a color animated cardboard thing where I can be more precise, and it just, sometimes for me anyway, when you see things, it's a lot easier to understand them. But Feast of Trumpets, that is what is said. The sun's darkened, the moon won't give her light. And then 15 days later, when on the Feast of Tabernacles, when they're supposed to present palm branches, that where the people from the Great Tribulation, they're holding palm branches in their hands, and they've come out of Great Tribulation. I'm telling you, this is just unbelievable. All right, brothers and sisters, I'll leave you with that. I know this is long. I apologise, but then I don't apologise, because you know what? It's so wonderful. And I feel so much. I have a weight off my shoulders that I actually did this video, because, like I said, I was really having my headaches gone. Praise Father Jehovah. Thank you so much. And it's because that I overcame it and just did the video. I didn't just go to bed and do it tomorrow or do it another day. It needs to be done. The encouragement needs to be said, because I'm sure you, like me, were like kids in a candy shop waiting for Christmas Day. This is so exciting. It's just unfathomable at the moment, uncomprehendable how exciting this is. So I love you so very much, brothers and sisters, and if I think about it, once I do that cardboard thing, I will try and make a much shorter video, under half an hour, to try and wrap it all up in. I promise you, that I will do that, because I know a lot of I'll be able to share it with a lot more people, and a lot more people would watch it if it was under half an hour instead of these long videos. But to those of you who watch my long videos, oh, God bless your sweethearts. Like, seriously, I know it's a big ask, especially, but you know what the weird thing is? I've never been one for watching big long videos either, but in the last 2 weeks, I have literally sat through so many long, big videos, because that's all I want to do. Is like, I can just tell there's something in my spirit that's all I want to think about and concentrate. So I'm happy to sit there for an hour and a half, 2 hours watching somebody talk about all the wonderful things that they've found. So it's a big difference now, because we're getting to the nitty gritty. You know, we're getting to the precipice of the most incredible event since Yeshua Jesus Christ came to this earth and died on the cross. This is the next big hurrah. All right, brothers and sisters, I love you so very much. I hope this video has blessed you as it's blessed me studying it, getting closer to the Father and His Son. And, I can't wait to meet our personal angels, our guardian angels and everything like that. Just a quick reminder, those are people who, because I see a lot in the comments about people worrying about dogs and people, their pets and things like that. Brothers and sisters, I can guarantee you, he compares it to the days of Noah. Who went on the ark first, brothers and sisters? Who went on the ark first? Was it the animals or was it Noah? It was the animals, okay? They're going to be safe. It's all going to be good. They're part of our household. As the candlesticks of our household, we cover our whole household, okay? And the animals are innocent. So they're coming with us. They're coming with us, brothers and sisters. Like, they're boarding that ark. So don't be scared. Everything is the way it's supposed to be. Even those that you feel like, oh, my children, my husband, my wife, my brothers and sisters, I haven't been able to win them to Christ. Everything's the way it's supposed to be, brothers and sisters. Truly, truly is. If they need refining and purifying, so be it. We know that there is no death, okay? There is only a momentary, it's a trial for them. It'll be a trial for them, and they'll pass it because of your good oil that you have showed and witnessed to them, okay? It'll come to remembrance to them. If they have to give their life, so be it, but they're going to be greatly and richly rewarded, okay? They're going to be at the temple of God, forever serving Him. So have no fear. Everything's perfect. Trust in the Lord thy God with all thy heart, soul and mind, and love Him with all your heart, soul and mind. This is perfect. Everything is perfect, the way it should be. Be happy, be joyful, encourage each other with these words. All right, I love you. May God bless you. And if I do not see you in the next video, I will definitely see you in the skies. Bye-bye.